Welcome in to the Gotham City Rogues podcast. I, of course, am Condiment King, joined by Clock King, both well-known Gotham City Rogues. How you doing over there?
The most well-known, honestly. I would be surprised if I'm not the most famous.
Shout out to the Harley Quinn animated show who brought both of those characters to life in really funny fashion. So that's it's a good
Probably
show. Go
more
watch
my
that.
show than Harley's, but I appreciate it anyway.
Good point. Yep. We're actually here to talk about House of the Dragon, though. That's probably the more important thing here. Episode 8, The Lord of the Tides. Well, this is the episode we kind of all saw coming, I would say. Would you agree?
In some ways. In some ways, it continued to not quite get to the episode we all saw coming.
Yeah, I guess the end of the episode really brought us to the true tipping point. But there's some different stuff that happened in this one that I was really surprised at. But let's start it off. There's another 6-year time jump. Man, this show has so many time jumps. And every kid hits puberty so hard, and they're all stupid attractive. You're not going to tell me that there's not one ugly person in the whole show?
Ways. Aemond grew up to be a 25-year-old man.
Yeah, I was just going to point that out. Aemond looked 7 years older than his older brother. It made no sense, yet everyone just kind of rolled with it. He gave me Mad Eye Mooney combined with Randall from Monsters, Inc. That was the vibe that he gave off.
Looks a little bit like his Uncle Damon, who still hasn't aged in all his time jumps, which is good.
Yeah, despite his brother turning into just a raisin of a man. He went full Two-Face. That was one of my.
Are we going to talk about this at some point? Because I would love to just talk about his.
Let's just do that. Yeah, sure. We'll kick it off. Obviously, we eventually have the characters meet, but it is annoying that Damon just never ages. Yet his brother is exceeding age rate. I know, I get that. But does it age you that much?
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Apparently. It is. First off, the sickness is cool, and like those memes about him slowly becoming Gollum, they came true.
Accurate.
He got there. Over time, he kept getting sicker and sicker, which is great. He's finally passing, which is great. So we've said that before, though, I suppose.
No, he's for sure dead this time. If they bring him back one more time, and he's literally just there's nothing left.
He's not a person. From SpongeBob, where it's just. Chocolate.
Yep, where it just hates chocolate. I remember when they first started selling chocolate. Yeah, that's classic.
What he got to. But the look was cool. I liked the missing eye. I know my wife looked at it. She was, "Is that how an eye socket really works?" I was like, "No, it's not.
No, not at all. Not even a little bit." But that's why it was. Yeah, exactly. I liked the face tendon that looked like Two-Face from The Dark Knight. They had like exposed, just different rot, and it was pretty
hollow. His face, like his whole head, was very hollow.
He looked. The actor looked,
accurate, but very cool.
The actor looked 40 pounds lighter, which is not an easy feat to pull off.
Yeah, and he did a great job. I thought the whole acting old and that whole thing, the whole thing about everything about the poppy milk and everything. I thought was a good setup to this episode. Was sort of him, and was he even lucid enough to contribute to the story?
The way they used him was perfect, and his role throughout this episode was the best his character's been the entire time, and I can't wait to get to that. But we'll start off with the beginning a little bit. There's a 6-year time jump, like I said, where we jump to Rhaenys, and her husband, Lord Corlys, is out to sea, and it seems he is sick with some disease that pretty much no one recovers from. How much do you buy into this? Is he actually dead? Is this some weird political move where he's having that word spread around? I don't really know what the motivation is, because at the end of the last episode, him and his wife definitely had a difference of opinion, let's call it, with how they should be handling the whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting, right? Maybe you're trying to get an official declaration before the king dies and like the war breaks out. Maybe that was sort of the point. So it could be some sort of, conspiracy Josh over there making conspiracy theories together. Although, are they conspiracy theories when it's a fantasy show? Or is that just
yes? Theories? Nope. It's all. I mean, it's all relative to what you want to say, I guess. But I honestly think he is sick, and they are going to need to find him there. But I did want to bring up the fact that he definitely could have a different situation. Now, how did you feel about the brother? He's been a side character for sure, but he came to the forefront here when we needed him to. Do you feel he's right in his discussions. Who do you see as the true heir to Driftmark?
I mean, obviously we know that the kids are bastards.
Right. Yes. So who should get it though? Because I feel like Rhaenys is the logical choice, and then following her would be Baela or whatever, one of those weird Targaryen last names, one of Daemon's daughters. That would be the one.
I think the right choice ended up being made. I think ultimately what he said, right? History doesn't remember blood. History remembers.
Yeah, there's a difference between what I think is the rightful one and what is the true answer. And yeah, you're right. The second youngest kid of Rhaenyra should be the I don't know, in charge of Driftmark. But I love that political aspect to it, where it's not quite trying to illegitimize the older son, but in turn it would do so, and that's clearly the Hightowers are on their political shit on this one. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a cool plot line to try to circumvent a rule by having another rule that kind of scoops around. So I like the idea of the whole trial. I guess you call it trial.
Shout out to Adam Kennedy, Agent Ice Tree on Twitch. If you guys want to watch some playthroughs, go check him out. But he just jumped in the comment section to say hello.
Love that guy.
Moving on though, new dragon eggs. Daemon finds them. Cool. I think everybody, like maybe some of these kids that don't have one yet, are going to get another dragon egg, or maybe not, because Rhaenyra just can't seem to stop having children. She had 2 more kids in this 6-year time jump. Like, good Lord, we get it. You lengthened your line. You can calm down. She has.
That's not how it works, though.
5 children now. You don't need that many kids.
I mean, you did back then when they all get killed all the time.
That's true. I mean, I guess ask the Starks, but that's not the best example. 4 out of the, what is it, 6? 4 out of the 6 survived. That's pretty good odds.
By the skin of their teeth, though, some of them. Yeah, it's fine. I think it's more they're just trying to be accurate to the book, so they are just shoving kids down our throats. And help make that happen.
The one important detail, which we're jumping at just a little bit, but we did get another mention of Prince Aegon being the man that's going to unite the realms for the Song of Ice and Fire. Those are his last words, and we are, that's going to be something we discuss further later. But I did want to note there are 2 Aegons now within the 2 families, and I'm real frustrated about it.
And he's not talking about either of them.
I know, because it's Aegon, the Night's Watch guy from Game of Thrones.
Oh, I know that show. Dude.
I know. It's like the 7th Aegon. This is what happens when you keep reusing names.
Tell Jenny she's not allowed to listen to this episode, because that is a spoiler that she will be upset to know.
That's a good point.
So actually, I'm gonna tell her she's not allowed to listen.
I was referring to the old man, but sure, if you want to go that one,
it's definitely.
I know there's so many of them though. Like that's just 2 in that show. I'm pretty sure the old man on the wall was also Aegon.
It reminds me. I don't know. This is a random weird tangent, but it actually sort of just reminds me of an episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender where she goes to a fortune teller. He goes, "Your husband's gonna be a guy named John," and he just goes into a bar. Is anyone in here named John? She was totally right. Like, well, I mean,
I'll get murdered.
If everyone's Aegon, then eventually I'm gonna be right.
I know. That really was he just hedging his bet as an old man? He's like, listen, dude, Aegon, Song of Ice and Fire. I don't know what to tell you. Aegon.
If I tell you it's Aegon, then you're gonna name your kids Aegon. They're gonna name this eventually. It's gotta be
it. Moving on. Daemon and Rhaenyra decide to return to King's Landing. This was due to the news that they were going to be challenged for the seat at Driftmark. Well, not them specifically, but their son, Luke.
Not their son, her son.
Her son, yes, not Daemon's son. Correct. He would be the strong boy. I love that line, too. Yeah. Viserys is as fucking dead as you could be before death, and it's depressing.
Yeah, I love it. Love how dead he is, but not dead yet.
2 more kids from Rhaenyra, Aegon, and Viserys, so yet another person with the same name.
Good stuff, though.
Pretty cool of them.
Good Daemon acting here.
Yes,
this is peak Daemon.
This was Daemon taking the second fiddle in an episode when normally when he's kind of like the highlight. At least that's how I feel sometimes, is especially in like some of the stories he feels like he's the main character. In this one, he's present the entire time, and he does little things that are super important to
but it might
the
be
plot
his
line.
best. That's the thing. It might be.
It might be his best episode. That's a push. It could be the one where he takes on everyone with anger, and that's how he wins.
I like this one better. I like that it's the same eternal conflict that he's had the whole time. Like, he cares about his brother, but he's still a little too cool for school all the time. Like, and even in this situation, he's like, yeah,
he does,
dying, but also,
yeah, but then he sucks it up later. So yeah, that was one of my favorite stories. But jumping a little bit, Alicent's son Aegon, the 17th Aegon of his name. Yep, raped a servant. Dead. That guy sucks.
Yeah, and she's super dead now. So
yeah, do you think that was poison? Because I just put more of this Plan BT, but I'm pretty sure it was poison.
She's super dead.
She's super dead. Alicent just kind of being terrible, but at the same time, it's like, what can she do? And then she goes and disowns him real quick, but clearly that's not true.
She's actually I think she's grown a lot since the previous episode. I think the last episode affected her a lot.
Sure. I agree.
She's changed a lot in these 6 years, but now she's just sort of stuck in a tough spot. Otto has only gotten worse. Also has not aged a day somehow.
Good point.
But he's just an absolute clown show. Just one of the worst. I think everyone wants to hate Aemon.
We did not get another view of the cripple son of whatever that other house was, the former hand.
That's okay.
He wasn't in this episode, so he's going to show up in the next one for sure, because he's, conniving.
He'll be around.
But anyway, Alicent's pissed. Doesn't matter. Reunited, Daemon, Alicent, and Rhaenyra have their weird conversation with about Viserys. Did you take anything from that scene, or was it more like, okay, they needed to get them together?
No, I liked a little bit of stuff about the Seven. I think it's a cool little.
It's an interesting religion. It's another one of those fantasy religions that people really like. It's almost like getting trained as a Jedi in Star Wars. Like, there's a whole school of thought and a council and all these weird politics that are all completely fictional, or like Tolkien's stories. Just everything like that. It's what you need within these fantasy franchises to really get people to buy in.
The Seven is essentially similar to Christianity. We think,
right, but divided amongst 7 gods. It's
7. Yeah. I think it's 1 god and 7 aspects. I don't know what the 7 aspects are, though. Someone tell me.
The maiden, the mother, the stranger. There's a few other ones.
Yeah, the stranger, the smith. Yeah, I don't know what they all are.
Doesn't matter.
It's kind of cool. I think it's interesting that it sort of developed a little bit as they seem to. Every time, I think they were just trying to make her seem like Cersei, though. You know what I mean?
She gave off some Cersei vibes, but I don't think I can ever see Alicent getting as dark as her, though.
I mean, she super murdered that servant lady just for getting raped.
Did she, though? Did she murder them, or did the maester put poison in the Plan BT and she's not complicit,
Jeez, okay, this is nonsense. She murdered her because she got raped by her son, which is, I mean, it's pretty low.
Yep. Next scene is the Strong Boys, aka the Targaryen boys, return to their old stomping grounds and find Aemon training. And like you said, somehow their younger cousin turned out to be 25 the whole time, and he's 6 foot lanky. Made no sense. I'm like, no way, dude.
Dude, literally went from 12 to 25 in 6 years.
Even the older strong brother, like he looked like he was actually like 17, like he should look. But then their cousin, that was the second oldest. I'm sure that actor is going to be great, and we're going to like him as a character. But the fact that they should have gotten one more actor in between is all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's wild. He is a huge kid. If that was like actually a 15-year-old walking around, like, what is this kid? This kid should be playing receiver out there.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So that was a pretty interesting scene, and obviously, Corlys' brother, the Valerian brother, shows up, makes eye contact with Luke, and he's like, "Dude, I'm gonna fuck up your life right now. This is how this is gonna go." And I was like, "Hey, man, more tension. I'm here for it."
Yeah, the tension between the cousins was sort of the only lasting tension throughout the episode.
That's one of my last notes on here. So I definitely want to talk about the relationship between the nephew cousins, or whatever the hell you want to call them. But another note, Rhaenys has managed to look exactly the same the entire show. They haven't changed her hairstyle, haven't given her any more wrinkles. Just, she is supposed to be Viserys father's sister.
Yeah.
Or not even something like that. Some weird relation that like she's supposed to be like 90, bro.
I know. Yeah, it's a little surprising they didn't age her up some. But again, I'm not going to get too much into the weeds on what you need to and not do when you're time jumping. It doesn't really affect their character, but it does seem weird. She should seem like she's closer to passing on.
Yep. I liked how Rhaena, which is some other weird name, but Daemon's older daughter is now the ward to her. So that was pretty cool. She's living on through her mother, and I kind of respected how they handled that situation. I think it adds an extra layer of what side is she truly going to end up being on for the coming conflict. Good stuff.
Well, it's not traditional to what a ward really is, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, you know,
those are more prisoners of war, but it's all right.
Yeah, but Dick Grayson's Batman's ward, and there was no war there, just dead parents.
But always weird that he called them a ward. I think they didn't quite understand what a ward was when they decided that. Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. Rhaenyra throws out an offer for marriage of her kids to Bela's, which. So for a second, I thought, does that make them siblings? But no, they are cousins and now sworn to their cousins.
Yes.
Still weird. I know.
Siblings
I know because I know, but now Daemon's younger kids would be that kid's. It's all complicated. This reminds me of a certain family trait that we know, but we're not going to jump into that.
I know. Yeah, it's very. I've heard of it once or twice.
So many twists and turns. It doesn't make any sense. Just interpollinating. I get you're trying to keep the bloodline pure, but also gross.
That's what it is now.
Viserys requests his last supper. I really, really liked this scene where he's getting operated on by the maesters, clearly in a lot of pain, but he has the presence of mind that he has to be there on that day when it is most important to his daughter and his brother, and he wants to just kind of flex one last time. And I got nothing but respect in Viserys in this one.
Yeah,
like
turning down the milk of the poppy.
Yeah, exactly. I put that too. Just turns it down. He's like, dude, I gotta be here. This is how it's gonna go, and I loved it. Vaemond, the brother, was heard first. His argument: he didn't outright call them bastards yet, but it was very much implied, and he will eventually say that, obviously. But
yeah, I mean, the arguments are whatever. I think, like you said, the big scene is the king showing up. I don't think there was. Because
well, yeah, it was 2 seconds later. I mean, he gave his little speech. They heard him out. Then it was Rhaenyra's turn. She started her speech, and the king rolls in. Just the most gangster thing. Oh my god. What did I put? I just walks up like a G. I don't even know how to put it correctly, but it was the most badass thing. One of the most badass things of this entire show. Just coming out in his cane.
Did you know did you read about the scene with the crown dropping?
No. Was it unintentional? I imagine it was
unintentional. Yes.
Yeah. So ended up being improv.
Yeah, it was an improv moment. The crown fell off his head, and Matt Smith just kind of walked up there and handed it to him, and then they just rolled the scene from there.
No, no way. Was Matt Smith's character supposed to walk him to the throne regardless, or was that something that got added? Oh my god, that was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite scenes in the show so far. Is him finally accepting that he has that love for his dude. I can't believe that. That's insane. No, I did not read that.
So that's really cool.
Makes me really happy. Good on you, Matt Smith. You're such a good actor. I can't believe you did Morbius.
Good on, and then right. What a terrible God, that movie's so boring. But yeah, like good job by both actors, sort of like being in the moment, right? You pick up the crown, you could just cut right there, but then you sort of.
Well, yeah, I mean that's some DiCaprio shit. Like when he broke the glass and just rubbed his bloody hand on the slave woman. It's like that's iconic, and it was unintentional. So, gotta respect the improv skills of these two guys. I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't know that myself. And I even put a heart. I was like, oh, Daemon loves his brother.
He does love his brother, even though he's still kind of a dickhead.
Now,
let that slide.
When he starts talking, he sides with Rhaenys first. That kind of threw me for a loop a little bit.
I don't know that he sided with it, but he did.
But he essentially said that if anyone knows what the husband would want, it would be his wife, which in a way was finally reconciling their relationship even a little bit. I know they've always kind of had a tense thing because she was the queen to be and never got to be. Not his fault. It's his dad's fault. And it's not even his dad's fault. It's the guy before him, Some weird tension that doesn't actually exist. And it was finally lifted, and she backed Lucerys. Was that surprising to you? Because we didn't touch on the actual scene between her and Rhaenyra, but it kind of seemed like she was going to put herself forward in a way.
Because of that scene. So because that scene happened, I kind of was like, yeah, but really, when it comes down to it, you're going to side with Rhaenyra, which she did. Again, it seemed like the king kind of had made his mind up. I liked his line about, I'm confused while we're talking about things that have already been decided.
Oh my God. He was such a gangster. His scene was so good. Anyway, the stupid brother from the C brother, I wrote his name down. It doesn't actually matter. He starts mouthing off. He says the words that have been forbidden for a decade and a half now, questioning the bloodline. He calls them bastards. I'm like, dude, that wasn't the move.
And I love Viserys. I'll have your tongue, and then just.
Yeah, that was the best.
As one of my favorite scenes. That, I was like, that's not going to happen. He's super dead. And then sure enough.
Yeah. Oh my God. He could keep his tongue. I'm like, fuck, that was so cool.
What a brutal, not just like a head decapitation, right? Like
no,
his face in half.
In half. That was, oh my God. And I love how they keep that going too. Because even after that, when his body's being exhumed or whatever and cleaned up for the burial, his head is still split in two and it's showing it in the gap. Oh my God. It was everything I could ever want from Daemon. He's my favorite character in the show. I can't truthfully say that I like anyone else more. Maybe young Rhaenyra is a push and the older Rhaenyra is okay. But I gotta stick with my boy Daemon. He's so good in this show.
He's my third favorite character. That's okay.
Third favorite character. That's incredible.
Rhaenyra, Viserys, Daemon.
All right, fair enough. Beyond that scene happens. The Kingsguard go to take him down. They're like, yeah, well, it doesn't actually happen. And now we get the awkward family dinner. And this scene was also everything we could have asked for. I thought it was going to be a big feast, but nope, it was just a dinner at a long table. Were you expecting something else to happen?
No.
Could they have done more?
I thought it was what it was. I liked the whole. The idea that he got to see them sort of happy one last time.
They buried the hatchet.
You got to see
I made sure to note that. Yes, we got to see his face, but Rhaenyra and Alicent are chill. I don't think that is ever going to be divided again. I think one of them dies. You think that they are going to side? I think they buried the hatchet, and I think the kids are going to be the one that carry on.
Personal level, but the scene at the end where she thinks, "Oh, now I have to make sure my son becomes king." It's just.
Oh yeah, I guess that's a good point. All right, fair enough. But I was really hoping that they were finally cool because they were such good friends in the first episode. If you can remember that long ago.
Yeah, no, I agree. But that's the thing about that scene, the beginning part of the dinner, anyway. So it all just gets undone at the very end, where Alicent thinks his weird rambling is.
Does Alicent even know that Rhaenyra has a son named Aegon now, or is she just like, oh, that's another? Because that kid's not even a bastard. You can't deny his lead.
I don't think she does at that moment. Maybe she probably does. I don't know. But
I'm just saying, man. All I'm saying is I'm just saying. There's too many Aegons. This is nonsense. They shouldn't have done that. But I liked the apology toasts. It worked for me. The cousin uncles bickering back and forth, that was fun. But then at the end, where 25-year-old Aemond compliments them by calling them handsome, smart, strong boys. You little fuck. I love it. No, that was the most Draco Malfoy thing that he's ever said.
Yeah, but he did it. He did it. He
did it in a smart way. But come on, man. Everybody at the table knew exactly what you're doing. But he's like, got plausible deniability. The king's not here anymore. I don't know. It does seem
like if Daemon wasn't in the room, Aemond would have just killed everybody there.
Yep. I agree with that. 12 of them. He wouldn't have that's a good point. And yeah, Daemon did make sure to show his presence. He made sure his presence was known to everyone in the room. He breaks up the fight. He's like, not today, boyos. It's not happening.
Yeah, but it was like you said, yeah. Then the Dance of Dragons is coming. There's no doubt about it. It is flowing. And it's gonna be sweet.
Who's on what side though? We got people with questionable allegiance. Are both of Daemon's daughters gonna be on separate sides? there's a lot that we're gonna, that's gonna be figured out in the future episodes. But I'm on board for it. Last but not least, Viserys tells his stupid little prediction and says "my love" and dies. And that's the end of the episode. Roll credits. How'd you feel?
Yep. I mean, I already know that when this show is over, I'm gonna be like, I kind of wish you would make another show that took place during all these time jumps. And I know that this show specifically, the way it's structured is very good. Like the time jumps are very good. It's similar to The Witcher, the way The Witcher did big time jumps. It felt good. The show feels good. You keep it rolling. But
The Witcher got a season 2 that continued the story. This show, even if it gets a season 2, it has no choice but to move forward, which I guess is what The Witcher did as well. But we don't get to fill in those gaps. That's not. Are they going to do flashbacks in season 2 to the weird gap? They're not going to.
They're just going to keep continuing the war. Like I said, Rhaenyra's going to die. Daemon's going to die. The kids will have their kids. And I think the idea is they want to try to catch up to Game of Thrones. I would tell them that that's wrong. I think that's the wrong plan. I think they should have.
Well, there's
stretched out Rhaenyra's story for 5 seasons is what I would have told them they should have done.
Yeah, there's 2 more spinoff series though confirmed. Snow, which is a sequel to Game of Thrones following Jon Snow, and one other one that there's not too many details about it yet, but they're doing more with the IP. So maybe they just wanted to leave this one the way it is. I agree with you because it seems like they've got at least a partial winner. I've heard both sides where people say it's boring. But then other people that say it's fantastic. It's really popular, yeah.
Very, very popular. People do this.
It's a hit.
It's
true.
Every show that has any sort of IP behind it, we're all the worst. We're the worst about everything we do all the time. I think when Star Wars: The Last Jedi came out, the entire world shifted on its axis, and now all fandom has been jaded into oblivion.
Yep. Jaded nerds, not what you want because they don't have a lot else to focus on, so that sucks. Shout out to the nerds. We you live and breathe. I'm one of you. It's okay. That's it though. Hope you guys enjoyed. Check out the Marvel Stuff podcast. We've been taking on She-Hulk and just did Werewolf by Night. Got a couple comic book clubs coming up for a Halloween special. We're gonna do Batman Haunted Night from the 90s. Noah and I, we're gonna read the graphic novel, break it down, bring up some pictures. It's going to be a great time. Coach, got anything you want to plug here?
Yeah, just hang out with me. I'm awesome. Come to just, text me sometime. Come hang. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, check out our Marvel stuff. Just keep having fun. We're excited for all the upcoming stuff. I'm excited to keep talking about House of Dragons for the little time we have left. So it's been fun hanging out in the pod.
Roll into Black Panther on the Marvel Stuff pod. So I hope you guys are excited for that too. And once again, thank you for tuning in and love you.